when was the last time anybody saw us beating, let's say, China in a trade deal? They kill us. I beat China all the time. China taking our jobs, taking our money. And you can't be great if China's taking all our jobs. You know, we've rebuilt China. China's made so much money. We have such power over China, but we have leaders that don't know what they're doing.
Since Donald Trump started running for president, he has repeatedly railed against China, claiming the country is taking away jobs and money from America. A Bloomberg report, though, suggests Trump is courting money from Chinese investors to build a Trump Tower in New Jersey. So while it may be made in America, not all of the funding is from the U.S. Bloomberg Business investigative reporter Jesse Drucker wrote an article about this and is here with all the details.
Thanks for having me.
Really interesting. So explain this EB-5 visa program that Trump is courting these Chinese investors through.
So basically, the U.S. has a program where if you're coming from outside the U.S. and you want to try to get residency in the U.S., if you have $500,000 to put up and it goes to a project that qualifies, you can get a 2-year visa and a very high likelihood of getting permanent residency in the country. And so what this article is that there is a building, a 50-story luxury rental building that Donald Trump's son-in-law is building in Jersey City right now called Trump Bay Street. And it's gotten about a quarter of its financing, about $50 million, through this program. This program is overwhelmingly going to people from China, which is sort of ironic given the rhetoric in the campaign about China from Trump.
That's right. And so let's at least put it in context that the impetus for this program was to sort of stimulate the local economy, right? I mean, that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, and sort of even more specifically than that, it's supposed to stimulate the economy in areas of the country that are particularly economically distressed. And this is actually one of the there are two main controversies about the program. Well, actually, there are many controversies about the program. One of them is that it has somehow morphed into a source of cheap financing for luxury developments in places that are arguably not distressed at all. And the other issue is that there's a concern about inadequate screening of the money, and there's a concern that this is basically morphed into kind of a big money laundering program for wealthy people outside the U.S.
Right. So you spoke to Homeland Security, and also in your piece, you talk about Senator Pat Leahy having some serious concerns about it. He's a Democrat in Vermont, and also Senator Chuck Grassley. He's a Republican in charge of the Judiciary Committee. They say that they have some concerns about that, although to be fair, Leahy says he's been supportive of it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a GAO report last year, and the Department of Homeland Security itself has written some stuff that lay out very serious issues about the inadequate screening both of the applicants and of the sources of money.
Yeah, I mean, some applications have been approved in as little as 16 days, and we're talking about China, Russia, Pakistan, and Malaysia.
Yeah. I mean, there was the GAO report actually cited the example of an applicant whose money appeared to be coming from a string of brothels in China.
Okay.
And so this is a big area of concern. It's also sort of ironic, kind of given Mr. Trump's rhetoric about keeping our borders safe and about immigration.
Now, there's also an interesting wrinkle in this property that's being developed. There's a family connection with Mr. Trump.
Yeah. So the developer is Jared Kushner, who is married to Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka. It's actually the first property that they've done together. Donald Trump, for the last 25 years, has built very few buildings of his own. For the most part, he licenses his name to the developer. That's what he's doing here. He's licensing his name to his son-in-law. We don't know the terms of the financial terms of the agreement. For all we know, he's not charging him anything for the use of his name. But it's Trump's name on a building being built by his son-in-law.
Have they responded, the Trump people, to this article?
Not in any substance other than to call it a very successful licensing deal.
Do you so in your reporting, have you found anything that perhaps links people who have come in under this visa program to anything that might be nefarious at all?
No, I have not on this specific project. Clearly, in general, other studies have raised serious concerns about some of the people who have come into the country under this and the sources of the financing. But no, I want to be careful that I have not found anything to link anyone nefarious to this project.
But it sounds like the U.S. is almost selling visas in a way.
Yeah, that's one of the big criticisms of the program. That basically, unlike a work visa or an education visa, where you need to show proof of your desirability in the country in terms of your work program, your ability to do things that people here can't do. Here, really, the only qualification is that you have $500,000. And once you have that, and are willing to invest in a luxury real estate project, you basically can get permanent residency for you and your family.
Yeah, and clearly, whilst there are some candidates out there who say that they want talented people to come, people that, that you would want to welcome to the US,
Mr. Trump.
and Mr. Trump, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know where the money's coming from, and an example that you cited that was in one of the GAO reports, that it was coming from a brothel.
Well, yeah, but I guess I would say that the other issue is that this is literally letting in tens of thousands of people whose only qualification is that they have a lot of money. There's no question about their professional qualifications, their education. It's purely that they have a lot of money to invest in a project.
This is a great investigative piece. Jesse Drucker of Bloomberg Business, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great.